put on a defensive show throughout this classic show. Nagata, the big bat at first base. Seiji Kobayashi, the catcher for the Yomiuri Giants, catching his teammate Sugano here. They make up the battery for Team Japan tonight.
Kobayashi's had an incredible tournament for Hiroki Kokubo, the 45-year-old skipper of Japan. Kobayashi's in the 9th spot, and he has had 5 big hits. He's driven in 4. A very unexpected surprise for Japan. On the other side, Carlos Marti, his first year managing Cuba in a World Baseball Classic, trying to get his team to wake up. Marti 68. He won Serie Nacional with Granma this year, and that's how he was assigned this tournament. He's done a nice job of keeping his team on an even keel, but there's a real sense of urgency, Buck Martinez, not only for those top 2 hitters in the lineup, but for this entire team.
Absolutely. They can ill afford to fall to 0-2 in this classic, and Sugano is a tough customer on the mound against them. He's 27 years old, certainly in the prime of his career, and we saw him make his first start, and he was impressive. He comes right at you, and Carlos Marti, the manager for Cuba, told us his team has to be very patient. They can't swing at borderline pitches with Sugano on the mound.
These two teams met in game 1 of the first round. Japan won 11-6. Santos takes outside, and it's 1-0. What did we learn from that game in the Japan win?
It took a while for the Cuban lineup to get going, and Japan jumped out to an early start. Cuba rallied at one point. Japan had retired 12 straight hitters before España got it going with a leadoff home run.
Well, Cuba's running out of time to get going here in round 2. They lose this game, they're 0-2, and they are really up against it. They'll need a lot of dominoes to fall to still have a shot to advance. And the way this round ends is with this game tonight and then 2 games tomorrow, with Japan meeting Israel and Cuba at noon playing a daytime after a nighttime against the Netherlands. There's a strike, 92 miles an hour, and it's 2-1.
Santos was a home run shy of the cycle in his second game against China.
Slider for a strike, and it's 2-2. Don't expect a lot of walks. He walked just 26 starts this past year in Japan professional baseball. As on the ground, Kikuchi has been brilliant at second, and he throws out Santos.
Kikuchi with tremendous range and very good hands up the middle. Made a terrific play in the opener of round 2, taking a hit away from Xander Bogaerts. Turned it into a fielder's choice, forced the runner at second. In a game situation where that would have led to another run for the Netherlands, but he snuffed out the rally.
Here is Ayala. Ayala, the 35-year-old, had been playing professionally in the highest league in Cuba since he was 17. As we noted, with all the defections since 2013, Gurriel, Abreu, Tomas, and in his case, Risbel Arrobuena, he's had a chance at 35 to step in on the national team and start in this tournament. End of the bat, didn't get all of it. Akiyama's there, and he makes the catch. So Sugano has 2 quick outs here. And now you get into the muscle of the Cuban lineup. Frederick Cepeda with Alfredo Despagne on deck.
Well, this is exactly how Team Japan wants to face number 3 and 4 in this lineup. 2 outs, nobody on. You can see Cepeda off to a slow start. His only hit was a single. He has 3 strikeouts so far.
Larry Vanover calling balls and strikes. Trevor Grieve at first. Jens Bader at second, and Todd Tichenor is at third base. And a 0-1.
That split misses 86 miles an hour. It's a major league complement of pitches that Sugano features. And as we said, he'll throw a lot of strikes. That's a high breaking ball. You can see Cepeda's reaction suggesting he thought it was upstairs. But now he's going to have to deal with that wicked splitter.
Slider is in. Sugano started towards the dugout.
Good slider. Watch the pitcher. Nope. Sorry. Excuse me, Mr. Umpire. My bad.
Look out. The bat flies all the way up that first baseline. There is a row of photographers behind the small wall in front of the seats over there. It's a good look at them. They were all looking at Sugano. That's an impressive set of lenses, isn't it?
And they're on top of the action here. There's one wise guy that has a helmet on. Good move by him. Down in those camera wells where the action gets very intense very quickly.
2-2 to Cepeda. Fouled at the plate. We talked about this last night. This place is not filled tonight, but it still will be loud. It'll still be a party. But when Japan's on defense and their starting pitcher is on the mound, everybody is very, very quiet, very polite. That all changes when Japan comes to the plate.
Yeah, it sure does. Then they break out the chants and the drums and the noisemakers.
2-2, good job by Cepeda. And he's run the count full. Now the pitch count here, this is round 2. So the pitch count for both starters and any reliever that wants to try it is 80. Goes up to 95 in the final round, which of course is at Dodger Stadium. 2 advance from here. And then 2 will advance from San Diego, with Venezuela the last to join the party with their win over Italy today.
Another high slider there.
Chewing up pitches right now. Count stays at 3-2. I guess that, you know, for Cuba, one of the issues is bullpen. And one of their big horses is not available until tomorrow, Bucky, and he's a valuable horse.
Vladimir Garcia threw too many pitches, and he won't be eligible until tomorrow as Cepeda strikes out.
Cepeda continues to struggle, 1 for 12. just underway. You've got Cuba and Japan, both international baseball powers, and they meet here. Vladimir Baños getting the start, his second start of the Classic. Pitched well. That was against China. This is a very different lineup that he faces tonight.
He retired 13 straight against that Chinese team in his first start. 5 innings, not just 1 hit. He's a veteran, 15 seasons. He's a guy that they have a lot of confidence in. Baños, we mentioned, he has been around for a while. He dominated the Chinese lineup, retired the first 13 batters he faced to start that game. He's a strike thrower. He needed just 67 pitches to get through 5 innings in that start. And he's experienced, a veteran presence on the mound, 15 seasons pitching in Cuba. And he's got a tough task tonight to slow down this hot-hitting Japanese lineup.
Tetsudo Yamada, the DH, with that patented leg kick with a twist. And the count is 2-1. Now Japan had a night off. I think these folks needed it just to rest their voice after that nearly 5-hour extra inning epic game against Netherlands. To left and deep, Despagne, it's gone! What a way to start the party tonight.
Hiroki Kokomo put Yamada back in that leadoff spot tonight, hoping he would jumpstart Team Japan, and did he ever. He hit 38 home runs during the regular season. He goes upstairs and jumps on that high heater and hits it into the seats, 1-0. Watch his leg kick, balanced on that backside, and this guy is a real good hitter. Just 24 years old. He was the MVP in the Central League in 2015. And he has been the 3 and 4 hitter for his team, the Colt Swallows. And in this tournament, he has been top of the order for Team Japan.
And we'll see if this shakes the veteran Baños. Breaking ball misses out.
For a team that suggested they weren't a power team, that's the 8th home run they have hit in the Classic.
Two things about that. Number one, you're right. It was their manager that dismissed all the home run hitters he had in his lineup. Those home run numbers from the past few seasons in Nippon professional baseball. There's Kokubo. The other thing, we actually heard scouts and some other people say, yeah, but the ball they use in Japan is a lively ball, and so those numbers in NPB, you can dismiss those. Well, you know what? The ball they're using here is a major league ball, major league specs, sent in from Major League Baseball, so I'm not buying that either. Yamada's homer, Kikuchi has struck out, Aoki has provided a nice spark, and the muscle in the lineup is Yoshitomo Setsugo. Sho Nakata as well. Nakata's popped 3 home runs. Sakamoto, great shortstop, great hitter now. Matsuda's back in. He's had a great tournament. Akiyama's in center. And Seiji Kobayashi, the catcher, hits 9th. Okay. That's the chant right now.
Aoki going to play for the Astros this season in the major leagues. A veteran came into the big leagues in 2012 with Milwaukee.
That's a strike.
Aoki's 35 years old. Baños hits that fastball on the inside corner. Aoki, 2 years in Milwaukee, played in Kansas City, San Francisco. Last year played with the Mariners and hit .283.
Shoots a breaking ball to the left side. Delgado's first start at third base. And he makes the play over to first.
Couple of defensive changes for Cuba in the outfield. Alfredo Despide is in left field. Roel Santos, good speed. Victor Mesa makes his first start in right field. Yoelqui Cespedes, a 19-year-old, out of the lineup to start. Delgado starts at third base. Ayala's at short. Graciel had been at third base. He takes over at second. Saavedra and Alarcon finish off the defense for Cuba. Frank Morillon on the bench with Cepeda. Morillon fell into the dugout chasing a pop foul and injured himself. He has discounted the significance of that injury, but obviously he's not 100%, not in the starting lineup.
Not in batting practice, not in infield. So Alarcon calls the pitches for Baños. And Sutsugo into center field. One of the things we're learning about this slugger is that he's a complete hitter.
Sutsugo averaging with 44 home runs and 110 RBIs. He's legit. Drove in 110 runs in 133 games. He plays for the Yokohama Bay Stars, one of 5 teams in the suburban Tokyo area.
Shonakata. And he takes outside. This guy, we talked about him just being a rock in this lineup. 4 years ago when we were here, he was a third baseman. He's moved across the diamond at first, won a pair of Golden Gloves, and continues to just pump out big RBI seasons. The Japanese season is 143 games right now, and he knocked in 110 last year. He's got 3 consecutive seasons over 100. He's driven in 8. He and Didi Gregorius lead everybody, both sides of the bracket, the World Baseball Classic.
I mentioned he got the game-winning hit in extra innings against the Netherlands. They started that extra inning frame with runners at first and second, and he got a big hit after a sacrifice bunt. It was second and third, and we asked the manager, Hensley Mueller, did you think about walking him? He said, I thought about it, but Sakamoto behind him's hitting .500.
Pitch misses out. This is not good news for Cuba. Obviously, the Yamada leadoff homer was bad, but the fact that Baños, with 2 outs, has given up a single and a walk, and is up to 19 pitches, is not a good sign. Now, I don't think pitch count's going to be an issue with him. You can see already Cuba's on the phone to the bullpen, and already they've got 2 guys up. If he struggles, he's gone. And right now he's struggling, and it looks like Cuba's going to buy some time to let the bullpen warm up.
Yeah, you don't have any time to allow a pitcher to settle in this format. So you can see the 2 pitchers, and it's interesting, the right-hander on the left of your screen throwing a softball.
A weighted softball.
Oftentimes, and Bartolo Colon uses that in his routine. He'll use that to get loose for a while. He'll throw that 15, 20 pitches and then pick up a regular baseball and continue to loosen up. But they're getting loose in a hurry in that Cuban bullpen.
Orelvis Avila Marrero, the pitching coach for Cuba. Sakamoto, the shortstop. I know you get to watch Troy Tulowitzki on a daily basis with the Blue Jays. This guy has similar traits.
He sure does.
23 home runs, a Golden Glove. He led the league in hitting at .344, led the league in on base .433. He slugged .555. It's pretty good.
Sakamoto a terrific two-way player. In the opening day lineup for the Yomiuri Giants. It's the first time a teenager had opened up the season for Yomiuri since 1993.
Baños is topping out right now, Buck, in the upper 80s. And if that's the case, his breaking ball and his changeup better be really good.
Well, we mentioned he retired the first 13 he faced in his last start against China, and it's a totally different caliber of lineup he's dealing with tonight. These are good hitters, 1 through 9.
Alarcon has to block it, counts 2-2.
Marti understands his team can ill afford to fall too far behind. The Japanese team is loaded in their bullpen. They've got starter after starter they are using, pitching out of the bullpen. But they've got big arms.
Baños may be 2 pitches away from coming out of this ball game.
You got Sakamoto to reach for that breaking ball. He doesn't have that velocity to keep these guys off his breaking ball. You can see there, Yonder Martinez on the left now has a regular baseball. He's abandoned the big softball.
Yeah, Torres, the pitcher on the right, is ready right now. Zugo at second, Nakata at first, and shot up into the seats.
25 pitches. There are the numbers Rich was talking about. He led the Central League in batting at .344 and threw in 23 home runs for good measure, all the while playing terrific defensively in the field. A Golden Glove winner in 16. You're right. I think they're going to make a pitching change here after this batter if Sakamoto reaches base. Baños has to be fine with his pitches, and he has struggled 26 pitches to this point.
He did not have a great Series Nacional, the Cuban season. Breaking ball, ground ball, out to second. Gracial the first in time, and Baños limits the damage to a Tetsudo Yamada leadoff homer, as if this were in Fukuoka in the Sadahora-o Museum there. And this guy swings it like Sadahora-o, Alfredo Despagne.
Despagne starting to get his timing a little bit more. Hit 2 homers in the first round and has homered so far.
In the hole, Sakamoto can't handle it, and Despagne is across with a hit.
Well, we mentioned Despagne's timing starting to come around a little bit. He hits this one on the ground. Sakamoto goes to the backhand. He knows he's got a little time. Despagne doesn't run that well, but he boots it. By the time he recovers, he's got no chance at all. Should be an infield hit for Despagne.
So Cuba has a runner. Yurisbel Gracial has had a terrific tournament. He's 8 for 16, 3 doubles, swiped 3 bags, and is knocked in 2. Within Saavedra will come up next. I think they're waiting on Despagne.
Despagne, you can see him messing with his right thigh as if he may have strained a quad. He's still trying to get it loose up high on that right side. Legging out that infield hit.
If you're Sugano, wouldn't you throw over there just to test it?
Well, I tell you what,
fastball for a strike.
They don't need that, and you can see Despagne continues to try to loosen up that right leg. He felt something high on that right thigh.
He stopped running about halfway down and then just sort of, I don't want to say hobbled, but maybe trotted the rest of the way. Little tap for Tsutsugo. Of course, Despaign's played over here for 3 years. That one's hit hard and to left. And I think it's gone. A fan may have touched it, but the umpires initially call it a home run. And just like that, Cuba has a 2-1 lead. And it's Graciel.
Carlos Marte put Graciel behind Despaigne because he was swinging the bat so well. 8 for 16 in the Classic coming into this game tonight. And he connects for his first home run. A 2-run shot after Despaigne got an infield hit. Boy, that'll get the Japanese team's attention. Graciel delivering a big 2-run home run.
Now there is instant replay, but nothing from the Japan dugout yet. Here's a good look at it. On a line, and it went over. It went over clearly. So 2-1, Cuba on top.
Saavedra had hit 5th behind Despaigne until tonight. Graciel gets moved up, and Cuba gets the benefits right off the bat. A 2-run homer.
So there's been 3 runs scored already, and all 3 have come on long balls. The leadoff homer for Japan of Tetsudo Yamada, and now Graciel's 2-run homer. And Saavedra fouls it. Saavedra looking for his first extra base hit.
Despaigne hit 3 home runs for Cuba. That's the only other player to hit a home run so far in the Classic as Graciel connects. They don't have the power that we're used to when you talk about a Cuban national team.
Sugano with a high fastball has the first out of the 2nd inning.
Well, we mentioned Sugano, a strikeout pitcher. This is a fastball he elevates, and with 2 strikes, Saavedra probably protecting against that slider, and split is late on the fastball. 2nd strikeout so far for Sugano.
Now Alarcon. Alfredo Despaigne is not on the bench right now, so we assume he's down the runway and in the clubhouse getting some treatment on what looked like either a hip or a quad. Alarcon is 1 for 5. Now Cuba is without their regular catcher, Frank Morejon. Veteran guy, a guy that they really love behind the plate working with the pitchers. There's Frank. Took a dugout tumble early here in Tokyo. It's a bouncer up to the plate. As well, he had that pop-up where he had to race out to the mound and actually make a catch. And that was the day after he was toppled into the dugout. And since that point, he's not only not played an inning, not taken batting practice, not taken infield. Alarcon gets into one, rips it to left. That ball's off the very top of the wall, and he's on his way to 2nd with a head-first slide and a double.
Boy, Alarcon jumped on that high fastball. Watch the location, trying to go down and away. They miss up in the end, and he just misses hitting a home run here. Watch this ball carry all the way to the top of the fence, and it's below that yellow line. It's in the ballpark. And you could see Morejon going inside. He might have gone in to see if he could get a look of it, had it on replay, but I think it was clearly just off the top of the fence and a double.
So Morejon is now the replay coach, as we've seen in Major League Baseball. You know, in Japan, they do have replay, but it's limited to boundary plays with home runs, just like it. Little roller, Kikuchi has to go to his left. He's very good, left or right, and he makes the play. Delgado is out. And young Victor Mesa with a rather important at bat here with 2 outs in the second.
Victor Mesa making his first start in the Classic. Mesa's 1 for 4. He hit a double coming off the bench, and this kid is a good-looking young player. When he gets a start, Yoelkis Cespedes, the 19-year-old right fielder, has struggled in his last 2 games, so tonight it's Mesa batting ninth.
Son of the last manager of the Cuban team. His dad, Victor Mesa, we got a chance to get to know him 4 years ago. He was great with us. And his dad, one of the greatest base stealers, if not the greatest base stealer and base runner in Cuban history. There's Despagne. That's a good sign. Cespedes next to him. Mesa pops it, fouling out of play. And this Victor Mesa, who's not Victor Jr., actually his brother is Victor Jr., so this Mesa oftentimes goes by Victor Mesa. He is a great base stealer as well.
A very pleasant young man. Rich and I had a chance to visit with him at the start of this tournament.
Yeah, he swiped 40 bases in 70 games. That's how good he is. And he takes.
Acuérdate que ese árbitro está con jamón. Ajá, compadre. Está bueno ya.
I got nothing, Buck.
He said, we got to come up with a big hit here. Playing here in Japan, we have the lead, but we got to add to it.
Yes, he did. Here's a 1-2. And that one is fouled back off the screen.
One thing you see throughout this tournament, no matter where it is, the Classic features a lot of emotion. Venezuela came back with a 9th inning comeback against Italy in the tiebreaker series in Mexico to advance to the second round.
Boy, Italy had a 2-1 lead. Miguel Cabrera, an opposite field homer to tie it. And then Venezuela got 2 more. So Omar Vizquel and Venezuela move on. 1-2. Fastball's out. Kobayashi set up out, and the glove certainly was hit by Sugano, but he was out when he snared it.
These two teams met in the first game of round 1 here in Tokyo, and Japan beat Cuba 11-6.
Look how far out he is here. Slider, swing and a miss.
As the veteran of 39 seasons in Cuba, knows this team well. He felt like Cespedes, the young right fielder, might be pressing a bit. So he inserts Mesa into the lineup, and he rewards him with a 2-run, 2-out single.
Now, it's early in the morning in Cuba, but no doubt they are watching. The last time Cuba played, 65% of all television sets in the nation were watching the game. Sakamoto, Nobuhiro Matsuda, and Shogo Akiyama, 6, 7, 8 in Japan's order. And a breaking ball, and Baños gets Sakamoto to chase.
Baños got off to a rocky start. He allowed the first batter to the ballgame to hit a home run. Then he gave up a hit and a walk in the first inning. But he settled down 1, 2, 3 in the second. A leadoff double and an RBI single to Tsutsugo in the third. But here he gets a big first out of the fourth. It's always important. Your team scores you a couple of runs. You want to put up a 0 in the next half inning.
I think shutdown inning is universal baseball language.
Just give your team another opportunity on offense and don't encourage Japan that they can get right back in it.
This guy, Nobuhiro Matsuda, exudes energy. He fidgets in the box. And when we spoke with him, he couldn't stand still. He had just finished batting practice. He was fired up. He was nice enough to chat with us for a couple of minutes.
Well, there was a veteran of Major League Baseball in many years here in Japan, Akinori Iwamura, on the field. He is now a manager in an independent league. Iwamura was around the batting cage, and we got a chance to talk with him. And every single one of these Japanese players came by to say hello to Iwamura, pay their respects to him, because they have so much regard for anybody that's had success like Iwamura.
Aki Iwamura was a nice piece for Joe Madden in those playoff Rays.
Iwamura played 4 seasons in the big leagues, Tampa Bay, 07, 8, and 9, and then Pittsburgh and Oakland in 10. Then he came back to Japan and played at Rakuten for 2 more seasons, 11 and 12. Iwamura, a 6-time Golden Glove winner. And he had a big postseason in 2008, hit a home run against the White Sox in the ALDS.
Full count on Matsuda, who's done damage in the tournament.
Iwamura working with Japanese television here, and he is managing in the independent league. He's a player manager, and he told us after this game tonight that he was driving to his team to get ready for spring training tomorrow.
That is strike 3 call. How about Vladimir Baños here?
We mentioned Baños is a 15-year veteran of the Cuban League, and after a rocky start to this ball game, he has settled in very effectively. He's allowed just 2 hits after the first inning, and he's really been economical. It's done a good job of getting his breaking ball over, and that has allowed his fastball to be a little bit more effective.
Alarcon set up on that outside corner. Akiyama cheer. That's a fair ball and gobbled up by Saavedra. Vladimir Baños has bounced back from a leadoff homer in the first. And right now, Cuba's up 4-2. Hirotoshi Masui. There's some good arms in a very deep Japan bullpen.
Yeah, and they can go one right after another to give the hitters a different look each at bat. Despite a big slugger, he's 2 for 2. He's scored 2 runs. And the manager, Carlos Marti, told us that Despaigne is getting hot, swinging the bat very well. His timing is really coming around.
Well, he took a vacation before the World Baseball Classic, and some people would say, well, why would he take a vacation? But he plays in 2 different leagues in 2 different countries. In Cuba, he plays from late fall to early spring. In Japan, he plays from late March into late September. Got to take some time off. Had a pitch to hit, and it's off the glove of the pitcher, and Kikuchi makes the play. Masui just got a piece of that.
Kikuchi can really play defense at second. Matsui got a glove on it, deflected it. Despaigne running a little bit gingerly up the first baseline, but Kikuchi, a terrific defender, made a good play for the first out of the bottom of the 6th. Check that top of the 6th.
Here is Gracial, who opened the scoring for Cuba with a laser beam home run in the second. Shot to left. It was a 2-run homer. And he sneaks that one down the line and kicks off the wall. He's got wheels, and he's got a double.
That's the 4th double Gracial has hit in the Classic. He now has that 2-run homer and a double. Inside-out pitch, fastball hits it past Manalo down the right field line. Gets out of the box in a hurry and makes the turn, and they have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
William Saavedra is 1 for 2, and the man behind him, Yosvani Alarcon, is 2 for 2. So the bottom of the order for Cuba has done damage. You go down to the number 9 hitter, Victor Mesa. He had the 2-run single in the 4th. Chance to take the lead back. Japan had the lead. Cuba erased it, took the lead. Japan tied it. Cuba went ahead. Japan has tied it again. Got a fastball, shoots it to right. Aoki there, makes the catch. Gracial tags on his way to third, and he is safe. Sweet tag by Matsuda, and a good, strong relay. He just got in.
Fundamentally, Japanese team plays very well. Watch the second baseman go out. He's going to cut down the distance for Aoki, who throws it directly to the second baseman. Kikuchi makes it close at third. Fundamentally, in Japan, they work on fundamentals for hours. Aoki, not known for a strong arm, but Kikuchi goes out to cut down his throw, and Kikuchi, the second baseman, fired a strike to third.
Trying to bunt is Alarcon. And the count is 0-1. And one of the tenets of Japanese baseball in a relay situation is you hit the first cutoff man. You don't hit the second. And you let that infielder with a strong arm go from there. To left, it sinks, and it falls. And Cuba has the lead again. Alarcon, playing for the injured Frank Morejon, is 3 for 3.
What we are seeing from this Cuban team is their at-bats are getting better and better the deeper they get into this Classic. What a game for Alarcon, who is 3 for 3. Sharp single in front of Tsutsugo in left field. The 1-out double by Gracial. He moves up on the fly ball to left, and Cuba has retaken the lead thanks to a 3 for 3 night from their catcher.
Here's Delgado, who's 0 for 2. So Hirotoshi Masui, called upon to keep it even, has given up a run. Both bullpens in now, and both managers will be quick to change if anybody runs into issues. They're at the bottom of the Cuban order. Hiroki Kokubo, the 45-year-old skipper, has a right-hander and a lefty loosening up.
Norimoto, a starting pitcher, has got great stuff. He's loosening up down in their pen.
Kikuchi on a hop, but Cuba gets that lead back. Yosvani Alarcon is 3 for 3, and it's 5-4. Israel tomorrow night. If Cuba wins this game, that sets up 2 elimination games. Everybody would be 1-1, and whoever won between Netherlands and Cuba and Israel and Japan is headed to Los Angeles. But a lot has to happen before that scenario plays out. Because every time Cuba takes the lead, Japan has been able to tie the game.
We started this pool with a doubleheader on Sunday. Cuba lost 4-1. And then we had the Netherlands and Japan play an extra inning game. And the prospects of having 4 teams all at 1-1 for the finale of this pool. Fascinating.
A strike, Sakamoto. Now Yera came out of the bullpen, and he's not been sharp. He gave up a hit. Cuba got a couple of runs in the bottom of the 5th. Bouncer to third. Delgado in time. And so Yera went 3-0 on Sakamoto, but comes back to get him. You've got Nobuhiro Matsuda and Shogo Akiyama, 7 and 8, still the hit for Japan.
Well, Yera, to me, doesn't have confidence in his fastball. We have seen him earlier in this classic use his fastball more aggressively, but that's not been the case in this outing tonight. Thrown a lot of breaking balls and changeups. Rarely has he thrown a strike with his fastball.
Matsuda takes a ball in the dirt.
Matsuda got off to a great start in the first round here in Tokyo. His first game he went 4 for 5 and drove in 4, hit a 3-run homer.
We may not go to a bullpen shot for the rest of the night and not have somebody warming up. Right?
Number 44 is Miguel Lajera. 89, the lefty, Livan Moinello. And you can bet they're both standing by ready.
Looked like he went, and he did. One of the unique things about this ballpark and with some other parks in Japan is that the bullpens are hidden from view. We have a camera, and both dugouts have a camera in both bullpens. So a manager can see his own pen, and he can see the other bullpen. That one pulled out. We've talked in terms of Major League Baseball earlier here in Tokyo. The Cubs are moving their bullpens out under the brand new bleachers at Wrigley Field. Though there, at least from what we've read, there will be a viewing area, a small window of sorts. I'm sure we'll have camera.
Field. Been such a big part of Wrigley Field over the years.
Oh, left fielders and right fielders in the National League do not agree with you, Buck Martinez.
Oh, I know. They come into play, but that's always kind of interesting. Also, AT&T Park, San Francisco.
So that leaves what? Oakland and San Francisco?
Tampa Bay.
And Tampa Bay with bullpens down the right field line. Yera at 5'7". 26 pitches in. It's 2-2 to Matsuda.
Another breaking ball, and Yera continues to throw a bunch of breaking balls. That slow curveball that time.
Now, I know you have one of the great leg kickers in baseball, right?
Josh Donaldson.
Have you seen a leg kick like this where the leg kick starts and it swings almost out over the plate and then winds up bringing it back out into foul territory?
Well, we talked to Matsuda about his leg kick, and he said he stays balanced, and that one gets away.
And that's going to put Matsuda at first base.
A strikeout and a wild pitch that got away from Alarcon. There have been so many breaking balls from Hierra. You've got to think if you're going to get beat, it's going to be in the dirt. And he went too far to his right, moved out of the way of that ball bouncing, bounces right past him, and allows Matsuda to reach first. But Matsuda told us as far as that leg kick, he said, I hang up there, and then I try to get my foot down as I determine which pitch I might get, but that time he was badly fooled.
Shogo Akiyama. He has bounced to second twice. And Hierra with a breaking ball. He's not sharp right now, Buck. And you mentioned it. He's had a couple appearances where he'll look good for an inning and then not so much the next.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like he feels good about his fastball at all. I mean, he hasn't shown any confidence at all in his fastball. That wasn't the case earlier here in Tokyo. Cuba was off yesterday, so he's had enough rest. That last pitch, 86 miles an hour, that's certainly enough fastball to use it if you set it up properly. This is the fourth appearance for Hierra in the Classic.
You know what's impressive here, Buck? Whether it's Shogo Akiyama or Kobayashi or Aoki or Kikuchi, these fans have the lyrics down, the chant down for every different Japanese player. Now, there are some lyric sheets out there, but this is an all-star team. This isn't like the hometown crowd. That pitch at 86 miles an hour.
They are so knowledgeable about all of the players in the Nippon Professional Baseball leagues, both Central League and Pacific League. You and I have both seen fans at the hotel getting autographs from the Cuban players, from the Netherlands teams. I mean, they know their baseball.
I can honestly say I will go the rest of my life through Major League Baseball, and I don't think I will ever see a bleacher scene like this. I know Wrigley Field's fun, there may be more alcohol involved, and maybe more sunshine, but there certainly isn't as much energy.
And it's everybody.
In the dirt, and it gets by Alarcon, who was pretty casual about trying to stop it. He didn't seem to be in any hurry to get his body over. And that's a big, wild pitch, but still, here's a look.
Yeah, you got to block this ball. He just tried to catch it on the short hop and then was really kind of late going after it. But now Matsuda in scoring position, checking the position of the outfielders. And Morihone is the starter, very good defensive catcher.
Well,
yelling encouragement to Alarcon.
What you lose in defense, you gain in offense. Alarcon is 3 for 3, a double and an RBI single. 2-2. You know the catcher and Morihone is saying, come on now. Akiyama is the hit king. Calm down, Pete. He's the hit king per season here in Japan, 216. And he walks. Remember, Matsuda struck out, but the ball got by Alarcon. And Carlos Marti is on his way out.
Marti, no hesitation at all, reaches for the baseball. He's going to make a pitching change.
Yera is out. Japan is threatening. Championship series actually saved. He's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he needs it right now.
He has faced 6 hitters in the Classic and retired all 6. He picked up a save in the first round in that 4-3 win for Cuba over Australia. He retired the side in order to close out the ball game in the 9th.
And this an example, I guess, of international bullpenning, because Lajera is one of the best weapons that Marti has in his bullpen, and here he is in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out. And light hitting catcher Seiji Kobayashi is up, but he's 6 for 13 in the Classic. And he grounds one slowly into left field. Charging is Despagne. Runner comes. Despagne's throw is cut. It's tied once again.
What a series for Seiji Kobayashi. His 7th hit, his 5th RBI. Known as a light-hitting catcher, comes up with a big hit here in the 6th.
And now you got a dangerous hitter up who could give Japan the lead, Tetsudo Yamada.
Ball bounces through the hole in third. Despagne comes up throwing. The ball is cut off. Remember, Matsuda, who scores the tying run, reached on a strikeout and a wild pitch. Kobayashi continues to come up with big hits.
Well, we talked about the fastball, and that's Lajera's calling card. He opened the number 9 hitter, the catcher, with a slider.
Sometimes you can outsmart yourself. Lajera's got a big fastball. That's the first batter to reach base against him. He had retired 6 straight in 2 innings of work.
And Japan has caught Cuba one more time. That's the 3rd RBI hit to tie Cuba from Japan's offense. And remember, they had the initial lead when Yamada homered in the bottom of the 1st to open up Japan's night.
Cuba has out-hit Japan 9-7, but a strikeout and a wild pitch. It's Matsuda aboard with 1 out, and then the wild pitch moves him to second.
Yamada has power and he can run. And Lajera misses out. Kobayashi, the catcher, is at first. Akiyama at second. Remember the strikeout that Yera got by the catcher, Alarcon. Then another ball that got by Alarcon that just kept the inning going. Check swing. Did he go? Nope. Counts full now with 1 out. As good a hitter as Yamada is, Buck, would you send the runners?
I don't think I would. I think you'll just play it here and not really knowing a lot about the pitcher. You've got Cucci on deck who can handle the bat as well. Yamada, like you say, has been on everything he's offered at tonight. Homer, double, and walk. He scored 3 times.
They run, swing and a miss. The throw, he is out at third base. Delgado got there late, but made a terrific play to catch it and get the tag down. Japan gambles. It's 5-5.
Constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Cuba and Japan 5 apiece, bottom 7. Outside of the telecast, Buck Martinez made the point that Cuba's top 2 hitters in the lineup have not been getting on base, and they're 0 for 8 tonight.
When they get on base, it really sets the table for the meat of the order, but over 8 tonight with 3 strikeouts, and Japan has done a great job of keeping those speedsters off the bases.
Cuba has one of their best relievers in right now. How many innings do you think they can squeeze out of Lajera?
Well, I think they can squeeze a lot. We mentioned he had made 2 appearances previously and faced just 3 batters in each of those appearances. And you made the point, he's a big, strong guy, weighs 260, so I don't think you should worry about how many pitches he throws at this point.
Hensley Mullins and the Netherlands hopes he pitches all night. Bouncer up the middle. Casio on to first in time.
That's a great point. The Netherlands and Cuba will play at noon tomorrow. First game of a day-night doubleheader. You see, the Japanese bullpen continues to throw, and they certainly have the advantage as far as depth in their bullpen.
Cuba takes on the Netherlands. That's a noon start here.
That's a tremendous rivalry. If you're not familiar with the international flair and the fact that Netherlands and Cuba have played some very intense games in the past, including right here in the Classic in 2013 when the Netherlands knocked Cuba out by beating them twice in the second round.
And the second time that win sent Netherlands onto the final round, which in 2013 was in San Francisco, and this year it's in Los Angeles, Dodger Stadium. In fact, the 4 teams from the other side of the brackets are all in San Diego. I would expect Venezuela's made it to San Diego by now, after their dramatic comeback in the 9th inning to beat Italy in what was an elimination game with the winner moving to the next round. Lajera.
The previous pitch, he thought he had thrown a good pitch and didn't get to call. And that one, he really came out of his delivery. He's got to regroup now and get right back into this at bat with 1 out. He's behind Aoki, 3-1.
It's a good pitch there. Aoki, 3 ground balls, all outs, but the one in the 5th produced a run. Japan jumped to a 1-0 lead in this one. Tetsudo Yamada a home run. Erismel Gracial made it 2-1 Cuba with a homer in the 2nd. Japan in the 3rd would then tie the game. And then in the 4th, Cuba would get back on top with a 2-run single by Victor Mesa, which meant Japan was about to score again, and they did twice in the 5th, which meant Cuba was going to score again. They did in the 6th. And of course, bottom 6, Japan tied it. And that's what we talked about as far as a quality arm in La Hera. Good fastball and excellent breaking stuff as well.
Aoki 0 for 4, but he had an RBI with a ground out in the 5th. He strikes out on this breaking ball. Hard slider inside. Back over his shoulder at La Hera. Miguel La Hera. 2 outs here in the 7th. Now he's got a little breathing room with 2 outs, nobody on to work to Tsutsugo. What a night he's had.
Maybe it's because of the clout, the damage that he does,
Right now he's not thinking about a single up the middle.
He's a hitting coach's dream. He's a power hitter who's disciplined and has a short, simple swing. 322 average, 430 on base, 680 slug last year.
He's the best cleanup hitter in Japan. He went from 24 homers in 15 to 44 last year. He's got a good idea at the plate. In RBI situations in his 3 previous at-bats. Singles up the middle. Nobody on. He's thinking about leaving the yard now.
He helped Yokohama to their first postseason series since 1998. Changeup is in. And he takes his walks as well. 2-out walk. Here comes Nakata.
I don't blame La Hera at all. He didn't want to really challenge Tsutsugo in that situation. I'll start with a fresh count, even though it's Sho Nakata. Righty on righty. Nakata's had big hits throughout this classic so far tonight. A walk and 2 pop-outs. Be careful on the first pitch. He is hard charging after that walk to Tsutsugo.
And we heard this about Nakata in 2013 when we got a profile of each of the Japanese hitters. What we heard about Nakata was he's different. He's not like the typical Japanese hitter. He spins on the ball. He has an uppercut to his swing. He hits with power and pulls the ball. And I think we've seen a lot of change in 4 years in the style of a lot of Japanese hitters. Many more of them are more Nakata-like than, say, Aoki-like.
Well, they're getting stronger. They have terrific practice routines. And Nakata has driven in 100 runs in 3 straight seasons.
Two outs, 1-1.
Nakata did not go with Samurai Japan to Arizona for spring training. He had a wrist injury. They kept him here, gave him therapy, trying to get him healthy before the team returned for some exhibition games in Osaka.
La Hera nibbling right now. He's fallen behind 3-1. Let's see if he relents and throws a fastball. Great spot for Nakata. Sunsugo's at first. No, it stayed slider. It's 3-2.
This ball backs up a little bit, and that could be an effective pitch. You don't want to throw it a lot, but sometimes that backup slider will fool a hitter because it's like an off-speed pitch and it runs inside.
Full count, 2 outs. Big lead, and Sunsugo will be running. There he goes. Hit hard. Great stop. Delgado across the diamond. Got him. Cuba has had 2 impressive defensive plays to end the last 2 innings, and both of them have been turned in by Jefferson Delgado. And this one keeps this game tied at 5.
Yoshi. He is a side armor, throws that sweeping breaking ball. We saw him pitch against the Netherlands. Faced just 1 batter in that game against the Netherlands and struck out his Japanese teammate Vladimir Valentin with a sweeping slider to end the 7th.
So he's got Cepeda, Despaigne, and Gracial. Cepeda mired in a 1-for-14 to open up this World Baseball Classic, and this is uncharted territory for him. He usually tears this tournament up. And that's a good changeup on the outside corner. But look, you're 36 years old. You're nearing the end of your career.
He's had knee surgery. He's had Tommy John surgery. Coming off a couple of disappointing seasons here in Japan in 2014 and 15.
And a comebacker. Akiyoshi gets the first out of the 8th inning.
Well, this is a huge at-bat for Cuba. Alfredo Despaigne, 2 for 3. He scored 2 runs. He's hit 3 home runs in the Classic so far, driven in 6. It's going to be interesting to see how Akiyoshi goes after Despaigne. Remember, Despaigne plays here in Japan. This will be his 4th season coming up. He has switched teams. He will play for Fukuoka in the upcoming season, but he understands what he's dealing with in Akiyoshi. You can't try to pull him. He's got that frisbee slider. Despaigne is very good out over the plate, like so many power hitters. If you have enough velocity, you can crowd him. And they tried to crowd him with that first pitch fastball. I don't expect he'll get much to hit in this at-bat.
Sidearm slider misses.
He's really got to be patient and understand that they have a lot of respect for his power.
And his home runs, the 3 of them have been hit in all different directions. 1 was to right center, 1 down the left field line, 1 to straightaway left. That catches the corner, and Despaigne shakes his head in agreement. Gracial will follow.
Right on the corner, you don't want to swing at that one on a 2-0 count. Despaigne hit a grand slam against Australia in a 4-3 Cuba win. That was a bullet off Lachlan Wells in the 5th inning. The only inning Cuba scored.
Busted his bat, little looper, out over Kikuchi's head, and it falls for a hit. And Despaigne is 3 for 4.
Boy, he fights off that fastball. They get it up and in shatters the bat, but he is so strong, he flares it over the head of Kikuchi into center field. Third hit.
And so here's Gracial, who's been outstanding in the Classic. 10 hits in 19 at-bats and damage, 4 doubles, a homer, and 4 runs driven in.
You might think, why don't they pinch run for Despagne? But remember, it's a tie game in the 8th. The prospects of an 11th inning tiebreak situation.
To right, it's well hit. Aoki back at the wall, and he makes the catch. A giant sigh of relief in the big egg, as they call it. And so here is Saavedra. We talked about Cuba, and losing this game would put them at 0-2 and really put them behind the 8-ball going into the game against Netherlands tomorrow. If Japan wins this game, they clinch, at the very least, a play-in game. It would put Japan at 2-0. Lose it, everybody is 1-1.
And both games in a doubleheader would be elimination games. Terrific pool, competitive. The Netherlands had an early termination game against Israel. They won 12-2, ended after 8.
Akiyoshi misses out. Saavedra, another veteran of many seasons in Cuba. Essentially what we're seeing from Cuba in a lot of their spots isn't the next generation, it was the last generation. The generation that got passed over for many of the stars that have left for the major leagues. Now these guys are good. There's 35. Gracial is 31. Ayala 35.
Way outside with that slider. You can see the bullpen. Garcia's loosening up. Lahara, who's in the game, has thrown 29 pitches. If he throws 30, he would be unavailable for tomorrow's game. As well as he's thrown. Tough decision for Marti. You would think they would love to have him available tomorrow. But can you afford to take him out of the game as well as he's throwing? They will get Garcia back tomorrow, as he had to sit out after throwing 51 pitches.
So if that's the case, wouldn't you want him to go as far as you could in a game like this?
Tough decision. When you think about it, Lahara has really pitched well against Japan, got through the
Bottom 8 in Tokyo. 5-5. Venezuela gets out of Mexico with a 4-3 win, and they head straight to San Diego to join the Dominican, Team USA, and Puerto Rico.
Venezuela didn't have a hit until the 6th inning in that game.
If you're just happening by this one. This big right-hander, Miguel Lahara, is the best weapon, or one of the best weapons, that Cuba has in their bullpen. And the decision that we talked about has been made. Carlos Marti has him past the 30-pitch count, which takes him out of tomorrow's game. Mesa trying to run this one down, and it's into the seats. And it, I think, is a great illustration of how Cuba feels about this game, having to be a must-win game. They have to get up and play the Netherlands tomorrow at noon, Tokyo time.
Plus, you know what you're getting with Lahara. He is settled in. He's able to throw his pitches well. And the only run he gave up was because of 2 wild pitches that got away from the catcher. But if you were to make a change and save Lajera for an appearance tomorrow, you don't know what you're going to get from the next guy, so you stay with this guy. And Marti looks like he's going to ride Lajera as long as he can.
How long can he ride him? How many pitches does the big right-hander have in him?
I think he's got the rest of this game if he continues to throw effectively.
He fields effectively, and he flips on over to first to get Hayata Sakamoto, Japan's shortstop. Matsuda and Akiyama now come up. This has been a back-and-forth affair from the very start when Japan took a 1-0 lead on the Tetsudo Yamada homer in the first. After Cuba took the lead, Japan 3 times has come back to tie the game. And it's 5-5 here in the bottom of the 8th. Bouncer to short. That's Ayala in the dirt and safe. Saavedra has had problems around the bag the entire tournament.
He just never looks comfortable stretching for the throws. Ground ball to the shortstop. Ayala takes his time, gathers himself, throws it. It's a low throw, but one that a first baseman should be able to make a play on. You can see how Saavedra reached back behind his leg, not reaching out to go after that ball. And Lajera's disappointed. A routine ground ball. It's an air charge to Saavedra at first, and rightly so. Ayala's throw was low, but one that most first basemen will scoop easily. Remember, 2 wild pitches contributed to Japan tying it up in the 6th. They will take advantage of every opportunity you give them.
Akiyama is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Akiyama, as we have talked about throughout this classic, has the Japanese record for hits in a season with 216. Terrific hitter, batting in the 8th spot.
Left center, it's gonna fall. Matsuda takes third. And the error by Saavedra is enormous.
Well, you give this team opportunities, give them extra outs, and have them come back and make it pay. Despagne alertly goes to second to keep the double play in order. And now, Team Japan has a deep bench. And even though Seiichi Kobayashi is 2 for 3 with an RBI, they're going to send up a pinch hitter. Seiichi Uchikawa, the veteran. Uchikawa, a tough hitter, 34 years old. This is his 3rd WBC. He has played 10 seasons with Yokohama, currently with the SoftBank Hawks, coming off a 300 season. A big error by the first baseman.
Cuba's going to play for 2. Up the middle. See what the corners do. Saavedra is holding the runner. Delgado at third. And still behind the bag. Akiyama can run. He's at first. Alarcon has to smother a slider.
You know you've got a deep team when you can pinch hit for a guy that is 7 for 14. Kobayashi, the catcher, 2 for 3 with an RBI in this game, and he gives way to the veteran, Uchikawa.
Uchikawa drove in 106 runs last year in 141 games, hit .304. In the World Baseball Classic, he's had some big moments. This was 09 against Korea in San Diego. 2013 here in the Tokyo Dome.
He hit .333 in the WBC in 09, .348 in 13, coming off a .304 regular season.
Fouled at the plate.
Uchikawa last year drove in 106 runs. First time he reached 100 RBIs in his career. 16 years.
Infield back for 2. Runner goes. Little fly ball. Mesa's got speed. Deep enough to score the run. Tagging at third. Matsuda scores. And Japan has the lead. Holding first is Akayama.
That ball was in foul ground when Mesa caught it. And it was so deep he had no chance to throw out the runner at the plate. Maybe a more seasoned outfielder would have let it drop. Uchikawa reaches for it. Watch where Mesa is when he catches the ball. There in foul territory. If he lets it drop, it's a long strike. He was deep. Matsuda, who reached on an air, comes in to give Japan the lead.
In his defense, that ball wasn't that far foul. He was on the move, and he just approached the line for a 20-year-old outfielder. That's a
Tough play, you're right.
drill, deep, gone. Yamada. All of this coming after the drop throw at first allowed Matsua to reach. An extra out to Japan, and they chase across 3 runs. Tetsudo Yamada's second homer of the ball game.
Willard Saavedra could not hang on to the low throw. He is charged with an error that allowed Matsuda to reach base. Matsuda reached base in the 6th on a strikeout and a wild pitch. Cuba making mistakes late in this game.
Cuba's bullpen ready. Lajera has blown past the 30-pitch limit.
Yamada back in the leadoff spot after hitting 7th in Japan's last game.
2-2. And And it's out. Ryosuke Kikuchi. Three times Japan caught Cuba to tie the game, and now they passed them.
Yamada, 3 for 4. He has scored 4 runs, has driven in 3 with a pair of home runs. A terrific young star here in Japan.
Right field, Mesa, warning track, makes the catch. 3 runs, all unearned.
Like he had his second out of the inning on a routine grounder to shortstop off the bat of Matsuda, the first baseman. Saavedra couldn't dig it out of the dirt, and that would set up the big inning.
And now you've got Makita and that magic frisbee slider of his, and he's on to close this game in the 9th and send Japan to 2-0 and send Cuba to 0-2. Jinjiro Sumitani is the new catcher. That fastball comes back and gets the plate. Yosvani Alarcon for Cuba. Bottom third of the order if Cuba's going to get anything done. Alarcon, Delgado, and Mesa.
Yosvani Alarcon has had a terrific night offensively, 3 for 3 with an RBI and a double.
Makita elevates the fastball. Alarcon chases, and there's 1 out.
I told you that Japan has a very deep and talented bullpen. This is the 5th reliever to work. Sugano was roughed up. Sugano, the starter, went 4 innings, charged with 4 runs on 7 hits, but the bullpen has been very effective. Masui gave up a run on 2 hits in the 6th. The only run the pen has allowed.
Delgado handcuffed, and it is 1-1. What we have seen here from Japan, they don't have the frontline starters that they've had in other World Baseball Classics. No Daisuke, no Tanaka, no Maeda. But they have a deep bullpen and a talented bullpen with a variety of release points and velocities. Some throw the forkball, some throw the slider. The other thing we have seen that is different from 2013, this club has power. I don't care what anyone has told us coming in. This club has power. 9 home runs. This is game number 5. That one hung up. Sakamoto.
Power, good defense, and a strong bullpen. Yamada, big offensive hero tonight. Tetsudo Yamada, normally a second baseman, but the DH on Samurai Japan. 2 homers, big night offensively.
Victor Mesa, Despagne watching. Now a loss does not eliminate Cuba. The best they can hope for is a 3-way tie at 1-2. They could really help themselves by beating the Netherlands tomorrow, but this was an opportunity that they have let slip through their fingers. As Makita misses outside.
Netherlands won 12-2 last night and lost a game to Japan.
And it's over. Japan is 2-0.